It's knowledge, craft, and friendship in this special sit-down with screenwriting consultant and host of the On the Page podcast, Pilar Alessandra, answering 15 questions on women's history. This is Trivia with Buds. It be. And welcome everybody to episode 88 of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Welcome to the show. We have a really great episode today celebrating Women's History Month with my friend Pilar Alessandra. She's the host of the On the Page podcast, which has done over 400 episodes of screenwriting consultant advice podcasting. It's amazing. She's also the author of the Coffee Break Screenwriter, a book you should buy that helps you work on your screenplay in about 15 minutes a day. It's really, really helpful resource for me as a writer. And I've known her for about 5 years in LA. We're going to talk about women's history and what she does and how she got into the whole world of being a screenwriting consultant. So you're going to dig our chat in just a few. We've been doing this show every single week for almost 2 years, so thank you so much for finding it. I'm glad you found it. Hopefully a friend told you about it. We put out full episodes every Tuesday like this, and next week we've got one on the Muppet movies and culinary arts with my friends Cam and Jess. It's a really fun episode. Thursdays we put out mini episodes of the show, so this Thursday we've got a mini episode on true crime picked by Patreon subscriber Alexis Eck. If you want to pick mini episodes and themes for this show and get amazing pop culture stuff sent to you in the mail, just like Loot Crate. If you like Loot Crate, you'll get stuff like stickers and posters and toys and more, all made by friends of mine. Head over to patreon.com/trivia with buds. You can see all the cool stuff you can get, and it would be amazing for you to support the show for $1 to $20 a month. So I'll be sending out those packages very soon for April, and I'd love for you to be on the next bandwagon of subscribers. Another amazing thing you can do if you like this show is leave a review on iTunes. We have 86 reviews right now, and I'd love to get to 100 very soon. So if you dig the show, leave me a quick review. Here's one from Cisco Kid 77. Cisco Kid said, I love trivia like I love trivia. I have a ridiculous amount of useless trivia clogging up my brain highways. It's probably what kept me from being a doctor or president. But I digress. Ryan Buds is a fantastic trivia host, and the podcast is just an extension of his skills. I can't wait for future episodes to see how he ties two completely different categories together for one final question. Thanks for the good times, Buds. Thank you, Cisco Kid 77. I sincerely appreciate that review. And again, if you want to leave a review, that would be very, very helpful to the show growing. I've also been doing a thing on YouTube and Facebook and a little bit of Instagram called Daily Disney Trivia, where I pick a topic about Disney and I ask 5 questions on it. They're like a minute long, and people seem to dig them. I did it for the last week straight. So here's some audio from the last 3 videos for you to test yourself on. 15 questions on random Disney stuff before our chat with Pilar begins. Let's dive into that. What it be, Thumpers, Flounders, and Mikos? It's your best pal, Ryan Buds, and today I've got 5 questions for you on Disney sidekicks. Let's dive into these questions and see if you know these best friends and adventure seekers. Here's question number 1. How do you spell Timon's sidekick's name from The Lion King? How do you spell Timon's best friend's name in The Lion King? Question number 2, along with a yellow stripe, what color is Jiminy Cricket's top hat? What color is that top hat? Question number 3, which Disney character had an animal sidekick named Pua? Pua. Question number 4, who did the voice of a sidekick known as Phil for short? Who did the voice of Phil? And question number 5, who is a small green chameleon for a sidekick? Who's got that lizard? That's your sidekick quiz for today. Let me know your score in a tweet at Ryan Buds on Twitter. What it be, friends of all things fun. It's your Disney-loving friend Ryan Buds, and today I've got 5 questions for you on older Disney characters. Let's dive into these questions and see if you know these elderly pals and gals. Here's question number 1. What actor played Maurice in the live-action Beauty and the Beast film? What actor played Maurice in Beauty and the Beast? Question number 2. What are on each of the legs of Carl Fredricksen's walker in the movie Up? What are on the legs of his walker? Question number 3, what game does Jerry play in the Pixar short Jerry's Game? And question number 4, in what Disney film would you find a character named Grandmother Willow? Where would you find Grandmother Willow? Question number 5, Ego is an older man in what Disney Pixar film? Where would you find Ego? That's your older Disney characters quiz for today. What it be, my Disney trivia loving buddies? It's your Mickey friendly friend, Ryan Buds, and today I've got 5 questions for you on dogs of the Disney universe. Let's dive into these questions and see if you know these heinous hounds and playful pugs. Here comes question number 1. What actor did the voice of Bolt in 2008's Bolt? What actor did that voice? Question number 2. What type of dog is Lady in Lady and the Tramp? What type of dog is Lady? Question number 3, what piece of furniture does the dog turn into in Beauty and the Beast? What does that dog turn into? Question number 4, what one word will make Doug from Up stop dead in his tracks? What is that one word that makes him stop? And question 5, what 101 Dalmatian dog is always hungry? Who is that? That's your Disney dog quiz for today. Let me know your score in a tweet at Ryan Buds on Twitter. All right, how'd you do on those Disney questions? If you want to check your answers, go to youtube.com, just search Daily Disney Trivia, and then click on my face, because it should come up right away. And any of the videos that I've posted on YouTube, you can go, and there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to my website. And it's the Daily Disney Trivia section of my website that has all the answers by day and topic, so you can check them out that way. I also post those on Facebook and, again, a little bit on Instagram. Finally, before we begin this episode, I sat down with my 3-year-old daughter, Annabelle, and I asked her about her favorite women in history. So here's the audio from our cute chat. I am sitting here with my beautiful daughter, Annabelle Rose Buds. How we doing, Annabelle?
Good.
It's did you know it's International Women's History Month?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Did you know you're a woman in history?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Who are some of your favorite women you've ever met?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, the wrestler. You did meet her. That was really cool. What did you like about Becky Lynch?
I liked her goggles.
You liked her goggles, and what else?
Her leggings.
And her leggings.
And her boots.
And her boots. So you liked her outfit. When she was really nice to you, too. Wasn't that cool?
And she held me.
She held you, and she asked you questions. She said, what was your wrestling name going to be? Do you remember what's your wrestling name?
Annabelle.
It's just Annabelle. That's right. Very cool. What about other women? What about your granny? She's a woman in history in your life. What do you think about your granny?
I love her glasses.
You love her glasses?
Yes, and I take them off.
And you take her glasses off, and then what?
And
then you put them on, and then you do an impression of Granny. What's your impression of Granny? Can you do it? What does Granny sound like?
Hi, I'm Granny.
Hi, I'm Granny. What about your mom? Your mama. What's your mom's name?
Ashley.
Ashley. And what do you like most about your mom? What do you think?
I help her all the time outside digging to look for treasure.
Yeah, you help her outside looking for treasure. And what else? What else do you like about Mama?
I like her taking baths to me.
You like when she gives you a bath. That's so nice. That is such a nice mom thing to do, right? She washes your hair. She scrubs your nose. That's funny, huh? Okay, well, thanks for sitting down and taking a few minutes to tell me about your favorite women in your life. You know, you're one of my favorite women in my life. And you're going to be a big, strong girl, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you can do anything you want. High five. High five. There it is. Say Annabelle Rose signing off.
Annabelle Rose signing off.
All right. Bye. There was Annabelle Rosie B. Budd. She definitely does not like baths, so I don't know what that was about. But her impression of Granny was dead on. It sounded just like Granny. Thanks for listening to this intro, and let's dive into my chat with screenwriting consultant Pilar Alessandra from the On the Page podcast. Here we go. Sitting here in beautiful Laverne, California, from the comfort of my own home on one of the rare episodes of this show where I have somebody on a Skype call, and that very special somebody today to celebrate Women's History Month, one of the coolest women I've ever met in my life, Pilar Alessandra. What's up, Pilar?
Oh, hi.
How's it going? Pilar, you are the host of the On the Page podcast, and you're a screenwriting consultant over at onthepage.tv. Pilar's hosted over 400 episodes of her podcast, and you can listen to it for free if you are a screenwriter or aspiring writer of any kind. She's also written an amazing book called The Coffee Break Screenwriter, now in its second edition, which you can find linked in the show notes to this episode. How we doing today, Pilar?
Pretty good. You didn't mention that you are a co-host on some of those episodes.
That is very true. I was going to get to that in my next little bullet point. You and I know each other. I took one of your classes in Chicago. I want to say it was 7 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my God.
You were hosting a rewriting class, and I had written a script, and I was like, you know what? I need another draft of this thing. And I had heard of your services and your classes from your husband, Pat Francis, on a podcast that I was listening to at the time. And he had plugged one of your dates in Chicago, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to that. So I brought my friend Scott King, and we went down somewhere downtown in the city, and we were in like a hotel conference room. Does that sound about right?
I think it was the red light district, right?
There you go. And it was a really helpful class, and you gave me a copy of your book at the end of it, and I read that book several times, and I do read it every time I'm going through another pass of a script. So ever since then, we've been pals, and when I moved out to California, I asked you if I could sit in on one of your podcast recordings just because I lived in the area and I was kind of trying to meet people. And you said, hey, I'm having a guest. I'm having an episode where I could use you as a guest. We have a bunch of comedians who are writers talking about writing screenplays as a kind of like in a comedic way. And I said, oh, that sounds great. And ever since then, we've been plugging along. And sometimes you have me co-host your show to this very day.
Yeah. Yes, because you're brilliant. You ask great questions. You're really funny. You're super smooth. You're a way better host, actually, than I am. So, yeah, any chance I get.
Very cool. And thanks for all those opportunities. I've gotten to sit in with some of like Hollywood's coolest writers. I got to be on an episode with Terry Rossio, which screenwriters everywhere will definitely know. He was a writer of huge movies like Aladdin and Pirates of the Caribbean, Shrek, stuff like that. And then also Casper Kelly, who likes some of my tweets to this day on Twitter. And I'm always like, oh my God, I met that guy. And he created the Adult Swim classic, Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, and also the Too Many Cooks sketch, which was kind of a big cult classic a couple years back. So there's too many more to name, but I've gotten to meet so many cool people just sitting in the chair in the On the Page studio. So thank you very much.
Well, come back anytime, Ryan. We miss you.
Very cool. Pilar, give me a quick version about how you got to be one of the most sought-after screenwriting consultants in the world. You go all around the world and teach amazing groups of people how to get better at writing.
Oh boy, that's quite an intro. Well, let's see. I started teaching years ago because I was a story analyst for studios, and instead of just being crusher of dreams, I wanted to figure out, well, what was working, what wasn't working in scripts, and how could I convey that to writers and also give them some tools that would help them become better writers instead of just having blanket yes or no statements in a coverage.
Yeah.
And those tools really caught on, which led to the book, which led to the podcast, which leads to me also consulting.
Yeah.
And I just really love it. It's really great work because I get to hear thousands of stories.
Yeah.
And help people sometimes smooth them out, sometimes add more, sometimes just improve their craft. So it's pretty cool.
Very, very cool. And yeah, you've helped me with several scripts, several projects I've worked on. You're always somebody I can turn to and say, hey, can you take a look at like these couple pages or this whole script? And you always find time for me. So again, thank you so much. Since it's Women's History Month, I thought it would be kind of fun on this episode to do some women's history trivia and see how much you and I both know about these famous women and what they've done. So there's no pressure. I know when I asked you to do this, you were like, "Oh God!" And I mentioned to you, I'm like, "Haven't you been on a game show? Can you tell what game show at some point?"
I won $18,500 on the Hollywood Squares. Special Survivor Africa podcast. Not podcast, Survivor Africa episode. Because I really loved Survivor.
Oh, my God. I don't think I ever knew those details. So it was the Survivor Africa edition of Hollywood Squares.
Yes. And I had one shot, and they had a kind of a multiple choice millionaire round. and I did really well in it for some weird reason.
Yeah.
If it's multiple choice, I'm kind of okay.
Yeah.
If it's trivia, I'm letting your listeners know right now, I completely stuck. So I'm really sorry. I can't remember anything. So I may just come off as the stupidest person.
No,
ever.
you'll be fine. You're going to do great. And what was you? I don't have 18,500 for you, but I do have 18,500 Buds bucks, which you can use to buy anything in my garage. So I'll print those off. And you know what? If you want to buy back some of your stuff, I think you've given me some kids' toys that are in the garage.
And like all that Batman stuff that you guys share. I don't want any of that back.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, the Batman stuff not for sale. Those are mine. And but you could have a lot of the old dolls and things.
That's okay.
Awesome.
That's all right. I'll donate them.
So let's dive into some women's history. We'll do 15 questions. Obviously, I know all the answers, but some of these I definitely did not know before I looked them up. So we'll kind of talk about that as we go along. We'll see how many you know, and we'll kind of BS about these important women in history as we go along. How's that sound?
It sounds scary.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. This is question number 1. Women's history. Rosie the Riveter was a cultural icon during what war? First question. Rosie the Riveter, cultural icon during what war? Any guesses there?
World War II.
World War II. Not even a guess. You knew it definitely. Very good. Have you ever dressed? I feel like you would be a good Rosie the Riveter for Halloween. Have you ever done that?
I haven't. I'd have to kind of work on the upper body stuff. But
you got to do some lifting before that? Very good.
Exactly.
What are some cool costumes you've dressed up for in the past? Have you ever been a woman in history for Halloween?
Every year I like to go as a harried working mother. That's usually my costume. Yes.
Very good. That's not too hard to do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I basically put on shoes.
There you go.
When I go out. Yeah.
Very good. I'm trying to figure out. Now in my house we're doing these group costumes because I have a large family that keeps getting bigger and bigger. So
I know. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh,
Yay.
Thanks so much. Yeah. Last year we did Star Wars. I was Princess Leia. I don't know if you saw that picture. I was Princess Leia with a full beard, so that was kind of fun.
I totally missed that.
My daughter was Rey. My wife was a pregnant stormtrooper, and my mother-in-law was Chewbacca with the talking mask. So that was a ton of fun. And I think, Pilar, you're going to be very excited for this. This year, I think for Halloween, I've talked them into being classic wrestlers. So we're going to be a big wrestling family.
God.
And my son, who was just born, he'll be about a year old around that time. He's going to be Andre the Giant with the big black onesie on with the strap going across. So I think it'll be great.
Get away with it while you can, Ryan.
Right? That's what I say.
Teenage years. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Here's number 2, women's history. Of her 270 published works, Little Women was the most popular. Who was the author?
Louisa May Alcott.
Louisa May Alcott. So you don't need multiple choice. You'd be kicking ass if this was Hollywood Squares. What kind of questions did they ask on Hollywood Squares? Like, give me an example of a Survivor Africa Hollywood Squares question.
Oh, boy. There's stuff flew into my head that I didn't even know I knew. Like, who'd won a Nobel Prize for literature, and the answer was Pearl S. Buck.
Oh, wow.
And I know. I mean, some really random stuff. That,
so the questions weren't all about Survivor Africa.
No,
it just had
weren't.
celebrities from that show.
Exactly.
Got it.
Celebrities. Ethan was there. I was so excited. Yeah.
I was going to say, how could people follow along? Like, do that many people know that specific of trivia about that season? But that makes more sense now that you said that.
Yeah, you just had to dress up like you were on Survivor.
What'd you wear? What'd you wear for that?
I just wore like a
Rosie the Riveter costume?
Yes, my Rosie the Riveter costume. That's what I did. And my shoes.
There you go. Number 3. Who has a famous studio in Chicago called Harpo Studios?
Oprah.
Oprah Winfrey. You ever been there?
I have.
I thought.
Yes, I have.
You know what? I knew you. I probably knew you had somehow. Did you teach? What'd you teach Oprah how to do? What'd you teach her?
I did not teach Oprah how to do anything. I don't think anybody could teach Oprah how to do anything. She's awesome. But no. One of my writers. It was actually during the trip that I was teaching for you. One of my writers was working on a Harpo show, and I stopped by and I said hi. And many places in that studio to wash your hands.
Is that true? There were lots of sinks and things?
There was just kind of hand disinfectant everywhere. It was they're all about the health there.
That's great. Well, that's good to know at Harpo, the healthy Harpo Studios. I didn't realize for a long time, even living in Chicago, because it's been there a while, that Harpo was Oprah backwards. Did you know that right away?
Yeah, I kind of figured that one out.
That's why you won money on a game show.
That's why I'm a writing teacher.
There you go. There you go. You found the clues. Here's number 4. After a major acting career in the 30s, who became a U.S. diplomat starting in 1969?
Oh, Shirley Temple?
Shirley Temple, Curly Top herself. She was a big actress in the 30s. Have you seen a lot of Shirley Temple movies?
When I was a kid, I used to love her. Like the tap dancing going up and down the steps.
Sure.
That's the best. Gotta see that.
I loved the Shirley Temple movie Heidi when I was a kid. I don't know why. I love the idea of breaking down that old man, like not breaking down the old man, but getting the old man to not be such a curmudgeon and like he's like Heidi, like towards the end of the movie he's so like infatuated with this little girl because it was just a cool story. I thought it was and she was such a good actress as a kid.
She was very good. Yes.
And it was crazy.
Yeah,
and she only passed away a couple years ago. She was somebody I thought had passed away a long time ago, but she just kind of stayed out of the public eye when she didn't want to be in it,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool.
Another costume for you for Halloween, right?
Yeah. People tell me a lot. They go, "Oh my God, look at her curls." Because when it gets a little humid or anything like that, her hair curls up. My daughter Annabelle, and they'll go, "She looks just like Shirley we were at a Starbucks recently, and a woman said, she looks just like Shirley Temple. She goes, Shirley Temple was my candy striper. And I didn't understand any of that sentence. And then I kind of figured it out. Does that mean Shirley Temple was a volunteer nurse in a baby ward at a hospital? Is that what, if she said... That
may have made that woman 100 years old, but yeah, I guess
she was pretty. She was probably 60 or 70, and she said something to the effect of Shirley Temple was my candy striper, and I thought of like candy first, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh wait, that's a term for nurses, volunteer nurses. So interesting. Yeah. Here comes question number 5 coming at you. Florence Nightingale was a pioneer in what field?
Nursing.
That was a good segue, right? We were just talking about nursing, and we went right to Florence Nightingale. Do you feel like I made these questions too easy for you?
It might be a little soft, yeah.
A little soft?
But thank you.
We'll get ready for the wrestling diva questions. No, I'm just kidding. Number 5, Florence Nightingale. Number 6, a painter of skyscrapers and flowers and more. What female artist holds the record for highest price paid for a painting by a woman?
Flowers. I used to have one of her things on my...
It's not Pablo Picasso. That was a fella.
No. Shoot. Oh my gosh. You'd think I would know this because her flowers, if I remember right, were rather suggestive.
Yeah.
But so I actually had her flower painting on my wall when I was a teenager.
Sure.
And I can't even remember who it is. Now, can I do multiple choice on that one?
I'll give you a hint. Oh, okay. Really? That's my hint. Oh, really?
O'Keeffe.
Yes, Georgia O'Keeffe. Well done.
Georgia O'Keeffe. Okay.
You got there with one tiny hint. Well done, Pilar. There you go. You're 6 for 6 right now. You mentioned the suggestive imagery. Was it yonic imagery in the flowers? Was that what it was?
If that means vagina, yeah.
I only know that because I met my wife in an English class, and one of her things she would always do, we had to do these close reading papers where you had to take a part of a poem or a book and then, rip it apart and go layer and deeper into what it was about. And every time, because we would have to be peer edit each other's papers, she always was trying to make something phallic or yonic. And those were the two things. And I'm like, can you write a paper that's not about genitals? And she was like, I'll try. And then we got married. So there you go. Here's question number 7. In what decade did Amelia Earhart's plane go missing? In what decade did her plane go missing?
Oh, boy. You know what? Let's see.
Kind of a tough one.
You would think I would know this because I really loved Amelia Earhart, and I read all this stuff about her, but I was also very bad with dates. So I guess I would say 30s?
It was the 1930s, 7 for 7. Yeah. Pilar, you must be a real woman to know all this women's history.
Well, I was this women's studies major in college.
I did not know that.
I was a women's studies major. Yes.
Very good. Yes. That's amazing. Did you see that they're coming out with an Amelia Earhart Barbie very soon in the spring?
Well, that's awesome.
It looks pretty cool.
And then you just hide her in a corner and forget where she is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Where's that girl? Oh, we'll never find her.
There's a bunch of women in history Barbies coming out to celebrate Women's History Month this year, and my wife sent me the Amelia Earhart one, and she's like, my birthday's in May. I'm just saying. She's a big Earhart fan as well. And have you seen that movie, the Hilary Swank movie?
No, I haven't.
I've never seen it either. It's one of those movies that kind of slipped right by me, and I'm definitely going to see it. What are some movies you've...
with my daughters. That's a good idea.
There you go. What are some movies you've seen this year? Like, do you have any favorite Oscar movies? We just had the Oscars. Anything that really jumped out at you this year? Maybe top 2 or something like that?
I loved Lady Bird, of course.
Yeah.
I loved Shape of Water. I'm glad Shape of Water won. I really am. I thought it was beautiful. And it had a great story.
Yeah, that was actually one of the only ones we got to go see in theaters before the Oscars happened, and that happened to be the Best Picture winners. So that was very cool. Man, that really, I cannot believe for the budget on that movie how great the world of it looked. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It looked fantastic. It looked so much better. Think about how, that budget was, minuscule compared to like a Justice League, which looks like crap to me. I'm like, that's just a bunch of crap, So I don't know. It's crazy. Here's number 8. Number 8. What was the full title of Anne Frank's diary? Full title of Anne Frank's.
It wasn't the Diary of Anne Frank?
It wasn't. And a lot of people do think it is. It's a little bit more vague than that.
Huh. No, you stumped me on that one.
It's The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. So, Diary of a Young Girl is the title there. Little something to put in your pipe and smoke. There you go, Pilar.
Okay, there you go.
Number 9. So you're 7 for 8. You've only missed one. Number 9. In 1851, what honest abolitionist gave a extemporaneous speech called "Ain't I a Woman"?
Sojourner Truth.
That's right, Sojourner Truth. Did you get it because of the clue "honest"?
No, but that was very clever.
Yeah, I put it in quotation marks for myself, and I didn't even read it like I did. Sojourner Truth. That was number 9. Nice job. Here comes number 10. We got about 6 questions left for Pilar's big Women's History Month quiz. Number 10. From 1979 to 1981, and again in 1999, what woman appeared on the U.S. dollar coin?
Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Anthony. Nice job. Number 10. Do you have a lot of coins? Do you collect coins at home?
I travel all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while, some really interesting coins get mixed up. Like when I'm paying for things at the 7-Eleven, they're like, "What is this?" I don't know. I think I got it in China. I'm not sure.
There you go. Where's the last place that you taught that wasn't the U.S., and where's the next place you're going to teach that's not the U.S.?
The last place was Cologne, Germany.
Oh, wow.
And Rome. I'm
Yeah.
very lucky to teach at the Mia Market in Rome.
Wow.
I'm to London next week.
Holy cow.
And then I have been invited to Taiwan and Beijing in July. So we'll see if that works out.
Amazing. Did you ever think when you started the company and the idea of doing this as your full-time job that you'd be like, well, one day I'll probably be globetrotting for this? Or did you kind of think it would always be kind of local and around LA? Or what were your goals right away?
You know what's kind of weird, since we're talking about women's history?
Yeah.
When I was little, my mom was a big feminist.
Yeah.
Dating myself, she was, had sort of awoken to feminism in the 70s. And
Yeah.
so she would tell me all this stuff. And so I really got into women's rights stuff as a kid, like free to be you and me stuff.
Yeah.
And my goal was to go around the world lecturing to people about women's rights. So part of that has come true. I get to go around the world lecturing to people about screenwriting. But
that's amazing.
A little women's rights sneaks in there.
Well, you know what? I would say you're giving people the tools and abilities to find their own voice, whether they're male or female, and that's a version of your goal as a kid.
Damn right. All right.
There you go.
I'm on that.
Very good. You can quote me for the next book on the back cover with that.
Okay.
All right.
I'll do it.
Your next question, number 11. Emily Bronte had 2 sisters who were also writer-poets. What were their names?
Charlotte, Emily, and Charlotte, Emily.
She's one away.
What?
I said you're one away, and you're almost saying the name.
Bronte. Charlotte, Emily, Anne?
That's right. Anne, A-N-N-E. Yeah. Charlotte and Anne and Emily, the Bronte sisters. Well done. You kept saying and I'm like, oh, she's so close. There you go. Number 11, still only missed one, doing really well. You would have won quite the few bucks if this was a real game show. Number 12, who was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize?
Well, it was Pearl S. Buck, but wait a minute. First woman, Nobel Prize.
Mm-hmm.
God. Indira Gandhi? No, wait.
It's, I'll give you the initials. MC. MC?
Marie Curie?
That's right. From what I found, Marie Curie was the first Nobel Prize winner for females. Number 12. So you're 2 for, 13 for 15. We got 13, 14, and 15. Let's see how you do on this next one. Number 13. Whose revolutionary fashion ideas in the 20th century often took men's clothes and redesigned them for the benefit of women?
Oh, it's the leave me alone person. Marlene Dietrich?
Not what I was looking for. Think, let's see. Perfume, maybe? Is this a perfume?
Perfume. Oh, Chanel.
That's right. Coco Chanel. That's what I was looking for there. Chanel is a big perfume, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
I'm
Coco
not crazy.
Chanel was, yes, right. As a designer, that makes sense, definitely. But check out Marlene Dietrich because she would wear these men's clothes and just like sell them.
There you go.
She was fascinating.
Very cool. I'm always trying to, my wife yelled at me a couple years ago for never buying her perfume. She's like, we've been together 10 years. You've never bought me perfume once. So every year since then for Christmas, I try and get her some. Turns out she does not want Taylor Swift perfume. That was my big mistake. Year one. And I just got to keep climbing the ladder from there. She didn't like the smell. I told her to shake it off. Hey,
nice.
what? Great joke. Number 14. In what state did Rosa Parks refuse to give up her seat on a bus?
Georgia.
It was not Georgia.
Wait. Oh, my God.
You even grabbed you even second-guessed yourself.
Oh, Alabama.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Alabama. And your last question, number 15. What singer was known as the First Lady of the Blues?
Oh, Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday is correct. And when I was looking that one up, I'm like, what's a Billie Holiday song? And I looked it up. I knew the first one that I played right away. It's just such a familiar voice. It's like any kind of old female crooning song that I've liked is probably hers, right? You know? She just had such a cool voice. Such a cool voice.
My favorite one, and it's a good one for National Women's History Month or whatever it is, is Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do.
Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do. Maybe I'll find a way to insert it in this podcast. Pilar, thank you so much for being on the show. I couldn't think of a better guest to culminate Women's History Month with, and you're certainly one of the women that's had the biggest impact on my life as a friend and a mentor. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This was not painful at all.
Awesome. There you go. Yeah, you got 13 out of 15. That's pretty damn good. Pilar, where can people find more about you and how to sign up for classes, download your podcast, get your book, all that good stuff?
So there's onthepage.tv, which is a catch-all pretty much for all of that. There's classes in person here in LA. There's even a couple recorded classes. There is a link to the On the Page podcast and also links to the books.
Very, very cool. Pilar, I'll link all that stuff in the show notes, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right. See you next time.
Take care.
How'd you do on those women's history questions? Pilar got like a really good score. She definitely knew more than I did, and I wrote the questions. So nice job, Pilar. If you want more Pilar in your life, if you want more info on what she does, go to onthepage.tv and look around. There's so many resources there to make you a better writer. It's amazing. So I urge you to go check that out. If you have a special event coming up, shoot me an email, ryanbuds@gmail.com, ryanbudds@gmail.com. I'd love to do some trivia, some bingo, some comedy at your event to make it fun, especially if you live in Southern California. And if you like this show, even just a little, and you want to help it grow, please check out patreon.com/trivia with buds and donate $1 or more. more to contribute to more trivia. If I get to $150 a month, we're really close, by the way, which is awesome, I'll put out an additional mini episode every month just for Patreon subscribers, and I'd love for you to be a part of making that happen. Special thanks to all my Patreon subscribers, including Alexis Eck, Jordan Zeilinger, Jess Whitener, Fiona Neville, Earl Clark, Natalie Santiago, Alex Dismay, and Manny McNelly. Your packages for April will be going out this weekend, and boy, did I pick some sweet-ass VHS tapes for you guys. One of the rewards is I find you an old VHS tape with amazing cover art, and if you don't have a VCR, go find a TV VCR combo at a Goodwill for $9. Whether you're a Patreon subscriber or not, you can find one. People get rid of them, and it's just helpful. It really brings you back when you watch a VHS, especially when it's like Lethal Weapon 3 with Joe Pesci. So jump on that. Thanks again for listening to this show, and we'll see you this Thursday for a mini episode on true crime. This has been Trivia with Buds. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers.